Hello and welcome to Give and Take, the positives in life. And today, the topic is positive action in the community. And so I have a wonderful guest that will share his name and what he does and all those wonderful things that come along with what he does. So welcome.
Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Okay. So if you could share your full name and what it is that you do in the community.
Yes, basically, my name is Maheesh Bridges, and been involved in, I guess you would say, a few things in the community. One, we were involved, my wife and I, in a program called Stop the Violence Youth Conference.
Okay.
And in dealing with that program, it came about because back in 2008, there was a huge outbreak of murders due to gang violence in the city of Mount Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up happening was my wife was trying to get me involved for a while and telling me, well, look, there's 3 kids getting murdered, and they're saying the gangs are really fighting. There's 5 different gangs and all of this, and they're all fighting for power and position and all this kind of stuff. So we need to do something about it. And I kept on saying, calm down. It's probably not going to be any more murders than that. Don't worry about it. And around the 5th or 6th murder, a good friend of mine's son got killed.
Mm.
And that was really a sad occasion. Going to that funeral and seeing him in that coffin, it really motivated me tremendously to want to get out into the community now and doing something about the deaths of all these children. So me and my wife, we went and we spoke to the superintendent. We mentioned the fact that there's too many of these kids dying. These were high school kids, junior high school kids that were being killed, and we wanted to put an end to it. And we had an idea where we wanted to bring these different folks from the community into the schools to talk to the youth. And what ended up happening from there was that, it actually worked. It took time, though, because
Right.
they were like really on a mission to really find out who's going to be the top, gang in Mount Vernon. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, there were so many youth that had lost their lives behind that mission that the youth were focused on at that time.
So now share with me that because that really did stick with me what you had said earlier about when you went to the funeral and you got that touching like. Please share that.
Yeah. What happened was, because I knew this young man from the time when he was, just a little tot, and then to see him as, practically an adult, but still a teenager. When I saw him in that coffin, it really, really hurt, So much to the point where, I had been putting everything off from actually getting involved with doing something about this. And I felt like the Lord was saying to me, you really need to get involved with this now. And I almost felt like he was just taking my heart and squeezing it, saying, it's time for you to get involved with this.
Wow.
So when that happened, I knew that it was time for me to really move forward and try to do something about it. And then when we finally did get the green light from the superintendent, we brought in speakers, to speak. And over the years, this is our 7th year that we've been doing this. And we've had speakers from California, Atlanta, Philly, Newark, New Jersey. We've had people from Virginia. We've had speakers from practically almost all over the country,
Wow.
And these were people that were really youth activists, and they had a mission. But I think one of the most touching occasions was when we actually sat down with 6 or 7 mothers whose children were just killed. And each of them gave a testimony on how heartbreaking it was for them to find out that their son or daughter was killed. And they just felt, devastated by it. And many of them, at the end, they were crying. So they was like, 6 or 7 moms up on stage crying. And when you looked around, because this was at the Mount Vernon High School, when you looked around in the auditorium, there wasn't a dry eye in the place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I knew that the tables were turning, because
Right.
people, the youth was starting to feel like, you know, we are actually doing the wrong thing. We're taking too many of our own lives. We're doing the wrong thing here. We need to really try to do something positive and listen to, you know, all these speakers that are telling us we're just going down the wrong road. And it took them a while to get that message, but I think that was the turning point when those moms got there and spoke on the fact that they were totally devastated by the deaths of their children.
Wow. Okay. So now, with this action that you took, was there a change in how many of the murders? Did it drop the murders?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in the first year where the outbreak occurred, there was 18 youth that were killed. The
Okay.
second year was another 18, and the third year it went down to 0. You know, and since that time it's fluctuated up and
Right.
down, like 2 murders, 3. In Mount Vernon, we just had, I believe, 3 murders, and those 3 murders were of kids that were like 19, 20, 23, you know, years old. But none of these kids were actually high school kids. They were all kids that had already graduated and, you know, were young adults out there involved in gang violence, you know.
Right.
So that was the situation. But as far as the kids in the schools, one good thing that's occurring right now is that there's no murders that have taken place in the high schools or the junior high schools.
It's very good, very good. And so you responded, which was the reacting to a situation, and so then you became proactive and have continued that proactive, and so there's
Exactly.
been some benefit from
Yes.
being proactive.
Yes. You know, I'm really thankful for that, because sometimes, you know, you make that effort and, you know, it doesn't work, you know.
Right.
But, you know, I think, well, the other side of it too was that not only did we deal with it from a proactive situation physically, but we also got together, we formed a group called Spiritual Unity in a Community. And we got different groups from different, you know, paths and religions, and we all came together and we would pray on the situation. And I remember one day, you know, when I really felt that things were starting to turn as well, was when we were in a park. It was called Harley Park in Mount Vernon. And what happened was it was a very cloudy day. It looked like it was about to rain. And we were all in a circle holding hands, and we were all praying one at a time. And we were asking God to like really get rid of this death angel and all the murders that are happening, you know, just stop all this negativity that's happening to our children through the gangs. And I never forget, you know, as we came time to actually really speak on this, you know, going around the circle in the prayers, you know, the sunlight bursted into the circle, you know, where we stood. And I was like, wow, you know,
How
that's when I
lovely.
knew something was about to happen, something positive.
Lovely.
Because, you know, it was like a real hazy, you know, cloudy day, and you couldn't even see the sun. And for it to just break through in the circle there, that was a real positive sign. And shortly thereafter, the following year, you know, we just had, you know, no deaths that year at
Very
all.
good, very
So
good.
that was a big turnaround, which I was really very thankful to see. And
Okay.
one thing I will add, though, because I don't want it to appear that our organizations were the only ones that were out there. We did have the police trying to do their best to stop the violence amongst the youth. We also had 2 or 3 other organizations that were out there too, community organizations that were out there too, trying to do their best.
Right.
But the Creator gave us an opportunity where we actually had direct communication with the masses of the youth, because we were in the junior high schools talking to them, and we were also in the high schools. So we were dealing with affecting over 4,000 youth at a time, you know, during that week. Because I
Right.
believe you came one
Yes,
week,
you
know.
invited me to that, and I felt very fortunate to have the opportunity to participate in it, because there was so much positive things going on, and having dialogue with the youth, and doing something, and they appreciating it and accepting it. I mean, it was a very good positive happy occasion for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like I was doing something, and I really appreciate you extending the invitation for me to be a part of it.
Mm.
So now, Mahesh, you do something that's very unique. It's beginning to become a little bit more, but you do meditation in the school. So
Mm-hmm.
please talk about that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
The meditation program we have is called IQM,
Mm-hmm.
IQ Meditation. And of course, IQ deals with the mind and the measurement of one's intelligence. And back in the day, whatever your measurement of intelligence was, that was it. You know, there was
Mm-hmm.
no trying to increase it or improve it. Whatever they found out when you did a test or whatever, that's what it was. And don't even try to come back and take
Right.
the test again, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to make a difference. But over time, what people have found is that your IQ, your brain capacity for intelligence can actually increase and grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we found through meditation, that it allows one's IQ, their intelligence, to actually expand and grow through the meditation. That's why it's called IQ meditation. But anyway, what we've been doing, we came into the schools with the IQ meditation. And right now we started off at Mount Vernon High School. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
at Mount Vernon High School and Mandela High School. And basically, what happened in those two schools was something very extraordinary, because what we found out was that the meditation helped to get rid of a lot of stress and anger issues that was going on. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that's even another reason why, a lot of youth that were very angry, and if
Right.
they were to keep building that momentum of stress and anger, they might have reached out and, hurt someone. But
Mm-hmm.
with the IQ meditation, a lot of the troubled kids come to us. And when they come into our program, we actually bring them through the program of the meditation. And many of them have testified that, they don't have the stress and the anger anymore.
That's
So
great.
meditation can be very helpful in releasing stress and anger from a person. It can also help in regards to getting one's concentration and their focus really
Yes.
fixed on the goals that you have. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to improve your grades, if you want to, not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, a gentleman came up to me and my wife and said, hey, I didn't personally want to come in here, but they sent me in here. They told
Mm-hmm.
me that I had to come in here. And I was failing all my classes,
Mm-hmm.
But since I've been dealing with the IQ meditation, he said that he's doing a lot better. He's on like about C plus average. I was like, wow.
Lovely,
I said,
lovely.
that's really great. He said,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. I really thank you for the meditation. I thank you. I said,
Yeah.
well, I'm glad you got involved. Glad you took it serious, because
Mm-hmm.
some kids, they get into it, but they don't take it serious.
Right.
And because they don't take it serious, it's just an opportunity for them to, relax or something. But, that's as far as it goes for them.
Mm-hmm.
But for those that do take it serious, we've had some kids go from that D and F, grade level actually onto the A and B honor roll.
Excellent,
So we're
excellent.
very thankful for those youth and also different goals that youth had. We had
Mm-hmm.
one young lady that wanted to be a cheerleader.
Mm.
And she was in the ninth grade. And basically, there was a lot of kids that came out for the cheerleading squad. And, as time went on, some of them got chopped and some more. The captain, not the captain, but the supervisor of the cheerleading squad was saying, there's going to be a few more of you that are going to have to leave because there's way too many of you, and we're going to have to cut some of y'all loose. But and she started thinking, well, I'm probably going to be one of those going to get cut loose. But then she said she thought about an affirmation that we do,
Mm.
and the affirmation is seeing it, believing it, and you will achieve it.
Love
If you
that.
see it and believe it, you will achieve it.
It's yours.
And she actually started saying, you know what? I'm going to say that affirmation and see, because I might just have a chance of making it on the squad. And it was so funny because she started saying it, and more people were getting cut out of the cheerleading squad. And
I love these
then
kind of
the
stories, yeah.
supervisor came up to her and said, you know what? I've been watching you, and
Mm.
I don't want you to be a regular member of the squad. And she said, oh, you know, I want you to be captain of the squad.
Oh, wow.
And she said, what? You want me to be captain of the squad? She said, are you serious or are you just playing? No, she said, I'm dead serious. I want you to be captain of the squad. And she came to us and said, Mr. Bridges, I mean, yeah, and she talked to me and my wife, and she told us, she said, listen, I mean, that affirmation is powerful. It really works. It really works. You know, so if you allow yourself to really believe in the goal that you envision, hers was to merely just make the squad.
To make the squad.
But because she was so fervently believing that it was going to happen, it actually even went beyond her original goal, was just to be on the squad. She became the captain of the cheerleading squad.
Lovely.
So that was a beautiful testimony right there. So we're seeing a number of things happen. We have a sister that was getting into fights so many times, you know, in school. And she was saying, you know, the frustration and the anger she had towards students. I mean, you could just say the littlest thing and she was up in your face getting ready to, you know, argue with you and fight with you. And she said, you know what? I don't feel that frustration. I don't feel that tension or anger anymore. I just, you know, feel so much calmer now.
Lovely.
You know? So that's what the meditation does. It really relaxes people. It really helps them to really get centered for academics. And if you have goals, whether it's academic goal, and another thing, we had a young lady that was on the basketball team, and she was telling us, you know, that she had a pretty good game. She could make layups and she could make short jumpers and stuff, but when it came to outside shots, she could not hit from the outside. You know, she said once in a blue moon it would happen, but majority of the time when she tried to make that outside shot, it would hit the rim, hit the backboard, but it wouldn't go in. And she was so pissed with that. She was angry, you know. But she was saying that that's one of the reasons why she wanted to do the meditation. So she got involved with the meditation, and she really started doing the affirmation, and she started visualizing herself actually making the shots already. And eventually what ended up happening, she said by the end of the course, because this was a summer course that we were doing during summer school time at the high school. And at the end of the course, she said that she could just about hit an outside shot from anywhere on the outside. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, this stuff really works. You know?
Lovely,
So I was
lovely.
like, oh, okay. I said, well, I'm glad to see it work for you. I said, that's great. So we are having some success with this, you know. I'll be honest, it's not with every student. And one of the things that we are finding is students that are dealing with, another word for drugs, medication. Students that are dealing with medication, they have a hard time closing their eyes and concentrating because the medication kind of pops in and won't allow them to do that. And also there are those kids, I can't remember the name of the illness, but it's something where their concentration only lasts for like 5 seconds. And so they'll close their eyes for a minute, but they
Like
can't keep them
ADHD
closed.
or
Yeah, I
something,
think that's it.
ADHD,
Right.
something like that, yeah.
They have very short attention span.
Yeah.
And those that have the very, very short attention span, we've had
Attention
one or
deficit
two that have
disorder.
involved themselves and they forced themselves to really get into it and it worked,
Yeah.
but most of them, they really can't focus, you know. So being that they can't focus, it's very hard for them to close their eyes and meditate, unfortunately. So some of them have a hard time getting involved with it and taking advantage of the meditation.
Good. Now, I just wanted to touch a little bit on you've had other school districts and other people wanting you to bring it to them, but you're saying that it needs to come with funding. You know, these things have to be funded.
Right. Well, one of the things that's happening with that is that when we first started the program, we got very little people involved with it, very few students. And it was so funny because one of the principals that gave us an excellent idea, Mr. Birch from Mandela High School, he was telling us, he said, why don't you guys think about finding some kind of a hook that would attract the kids into your program. I said, yeah, I guess we have to give each of them $1 million bill, you know, that would bring them in. It's like, yeah, no, we got to find something else. So he said, no, but think about that. What would be a good hook? He said, well, why don't you give them a free lunch? I said, a free lunch? that sounds good. But I said, do you know what it would be like if you had 30 kids in a classroom and you gave each of them a free lunch? I said, that's quite a bit. And he said, yeah, but, something like that would really get all these kids, really interested. And
Right.
that's the hook. And eventually, hopefully, they'll want to really do it for real because they're starting to see the benefits. I said, okay, I'll look into it and see. And we did find a sponsor. We found a sponsor that would put up the money for the lunches. And in them doing that, what ended up happening was it opened the door where we had to turn kids away. Because so many kids, first of all, we hooked up with a restaurant called Dazzles. I mean, dazzles your mind and your taste buds. Excellent food, Dazzles. But anyway, what happened was they were catering lunches. Kids loved the food, excellent food. And the thing about it was the kids were like saying, wow, when's the class? And when we said the class was going to start on this day, we had so many kids. We had like about 45, 50 kids in the classroom. It was like, this ain't going to work. This is not going to work. Only have 30 chairs in here, and we can't have you standing up meditating. So we had to really turn a lot of kids away. And we told them, well, we're going to have more than one session. After this session, we'll have another one.
Right.
And actually, in February, we're going to be starting another session soon. So the good thing about it was that we ended up with about 30, 32 kids in the classroom, booked. And, we know that most of them came for one reason only,
Right.
to get their eat on. But the beauty of it was that eventually they started seeing, hey, my grades are getting better. Hey, all the stress that I've been having dealing with, taking these tests, because some kids actually, when they get in front of their test, they freeze.
Yeah.
They can't even lift up the pencil because their mind just goes numb and they can't. So we've had students that had that problem, and because they got rid of the stress and the tension, it allowed them to actually take a test, So we've had a number of different situations that have really been very helpful through the meditation
Good.
and everything. And the thing about it is, as the kids get involved with the program, even though they originally might come just to get a free lunch, eventually most of them say, wow, this program was very helpful. My grades have improved. I'm not stressed out like I used to. I had a serious anger issue. I don't have that anymore. Yeah, I'm really glad I got
Very
involved
good.
with this.
Very good.
So what we're looking for, because we do have a number of other schools and community centers that want us to come and actually open up our program there.
Okay.
But in order to do that with the free lunches and so forth, we need to have additional money.
Okay.
So if there are any sponsors out there that would like to help youth that really do need the help, because this is a type of program that can really do a 360-degree turn on a youth who's, like I said, earlier, a youth that's totally failing in all their classes, and they just needed to get some confidence. They just needed to start to believe in themselves, and the meditation helps them to do that.
Excellent. So how would they be able to reach you?
Well, if they were interested in helping out, or if they have any questions about our program, our phone number where they could reach us at is 914-979-6372.
Okay.
That's 914-979-6372.
Lovely. Now, we're getting close to the end almost.
Ah, okay.
And so I just wanted to touch a little bit on the Health Expo that you have coming up.
Right, right. Now, the Health Expo, we got a little time on that, but still, you should write this down and remember, because what's going to happen is the Health Expo is dealing with two things. It's a holistic health expo. A holistic health expo deals with a number of different factors, but the word holistic means physical, mental, and spiritual healing. So we're actually addressing all parts of that. We have a person that does tap therapy, which is more on the mental side of the healing, because what they are actually saying through the tap therapy is whatever physical ailment you have is really a mental trigger that started that physical ailment, whether it's cancer, whether it's diabetes, whether it's whatever kind of illness you may have. And once you correct your thinking pattern, that negative thinking pattern you have, which the tap therapy is supposed to help you do, then what will happen is your ailment will disappear. And this particular gentleman who teaches it has seen a number of people that have had cancer and other serious ailments disappear by making sure that people correctly start to think about, you know, what they are telling themselves. You know.
Okay, so now if you could just give the website information.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, right. That was just one therapist, but we're
Right.
also going to have acupuncturists, chiropractors, and the whole nine, herbalists, and all of that. Now, the website is New York City Amazing Holistic Health Expo.com.
Okay.
New York City Amazing Holistic Expo.com.
And then also briefly talk about the vegetarian cooking contest.
Right. Now, on Friday, the 27th of May, that's when the cooking contest is going to be, and the Holistic Health Expo is going to be on the 28th. The other aspect is also we're going to have a spiritual unity conference. That's the spiritual side of it. And that's going to be, well, let me just start with this now. From 1 to 6 is the Holistic Health Expo. From 7 to 11 on the 28th is the spiritual unity in the world community aspect. Now, the other thing that's very important is that Friday night from 6 to 10 p.m., we're going to be having New York City's Best Veggie Chef cooking contest. All right? So whoever wins this, it's going to be like between 15 to 17 chefs there. Whoever wins this contest is going to walk away with the title of the Best Veggie Chef in New York City. Not an easy title to win, but we're going to have 3 judges, and if they do win that, what we're going to do for them is make sure that their victory is heard near and far. Because we're going to have them on cable. Matter of fact, we're going to bring them even here on your show.
Good.
We're going to have them on cable. We're going to have them on radio shows. We're going to have them posted in newspaper articles. We're going to have them on the internet. So the word on what they're doing is going to really get spread, out there quite a bit. And we're really looking forward to it because we need people to get out there and start to really show what their talents are. So many people sit back on their talents and don't really express them and really get out there and get involved with it. So this is an opportunity for them.
So thank you, Maheesh. You're quite busy and doing some great positive things in the community and beyond. So that's wonderful. And so I want to thank you for coming, being a guest on the show. And so to the viewers, I would just like to say, your level of consciousness is the gateway to the success of your future. Thank you.